Hi everyone, it's Francisco. I'm super excited to show you four of some of the projects that I did in my first semester of graphic design at the KBK. So I'm going to start with the toolkit project. So we had to make a toolkit with a lot of elements based on an exhibition from an artist, and silkscreen, spray paint, or make posters in general with this toolkit. And so here is some elements together on a mirror. I also printed on, of course, different papers. I did one color at the beginning, or two, as you can see here. But then I moved on to making crazier designs, more expressive designs. I mixed silkscreen with spray paint. And then I also recreated the toolkit and some of the words in the toolkit by ripping them into paper, kind of imitating those shapes. I also printed on a t-shirt to see what my intention would be, if it would change the look of the poster, if I changed the intention or the material. I mixed the toolkit that I created on the computer versus the toolkit that I made ripping. I mixed those together to see what it would do. I superimposed a lot. I also made compositions with many of the posters together, so they would create new posters, as you can see here. So I wanted to be more experimental with my work, and the way to do that was to kind of let loose of my rigidity that I had at the beginning. So here's the stencil that I made using the same shapes that I had in the toolkit, but more aggressively. And I'm going to show you my performance that I did with Esther, based on the most beautiful object that we chose in a series of 17 objects for design class. We wrote a text, we each wrote a text, and we superimposed them here on this print. And we of course printed the objects next to each other. And we sat in front of them and just recited our text as like some sort of manifesto on beauty. And this was a really interesting project for me because I've never done a performance before, but I think it was really successful. And this was kind of a turning point for me because I realized that I wanted to be more experimental and more artistic, let's say, with my work instead of being corporate, minimal. So yeah, that was really, really fun. And I believe that graphic design can be any form of communication, and this just proved that graphic design can be a performance. So yeah, we were really focused in reciting our texts here. It was really expressive. I'm going to show you the installation I made based on the work of Studio Yukiko. I made this with Dagny. So Studio Yukiko is a Berlin-based studio, and they work a lot with these LEDs. And so we decided to create LEDs of our own by coding at the Hack Lab. So we created this LED. We made a fictitious studio called Resin. And here are the notes of how to create this LED. It was kind of crazy with the coding and stuff. We had to write it down on our notes. It was a lot of work, but we created a really nice installation with video, of course the LEDs, we had some music playing, and of course we also had a poster imitating the work of Studio Yukiko that they do with print, the grid and everything like that. So this was kind of out of my comfort zone because I don't really work imitating other things as much, other studios as much, but we did learn a lot. And I think it was really cool that for theory we could make something so conceptual and so modern. So I did learn a lot with this project, and we combined a lot of our previous knowledge to this project. I also made a scarf with Yim for letters class. And so this is my side of the scarf. I used a script that I made with uppercase vowels and lowercase consonants, and it was a unicase. So we put this script on, we each had a side to the scarf, and this was my side, of course. And I made this texture. So it was really fun to shoot this scarf, as you can see. I think it's a really trendy thing to do right now, to put designs on scarves as graphic designers. And I've never worked with this material, so it was really, really fun to do. So I think there was a clear progression in my work. I tried to pick projects that would show that progression because I really realized a lot of things this semester. Starting the semester being really minimal, rigid, kind of corporate, making corporate looking design, which is something that I kind of was comfortable with. And then continuing into doing more experimental, interesting things. So it was a really interesting semester because I learned a lot, but I'm super excited to make more work next semester and super excited to see you guys and, um, of course, make amazing things with other students, collaborating, which is something that I did a lot this semester too at the end. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.